remember the cop we brought you who literally saw a man, a black male, bleed to death in front of him from a stab wound, was told, hey, you need to help him. Cop says, that's not my job. I've called the paramedics. They're on the way. Well, now we have more information. The cop was actually standing by the body of this black male bleeding out, playing TikTok and some other things. So he was on this TikTok app. He was doing some other things with his phone while the man died right in front of him. Let me remind you of that video. Here it is.
Go sit over here. Go sit over here.
Here, we're gonna get help. Here. Do you know how to what? Do you know how to
452, yeah, but male bleeding from the chest, possibly stabbed. We need medical here. Ryan, get out of the elevator. Come on. Let's get out of the elevator, man. Ryan, I need you to crawl towards me, bro.
What's our neighbor?
Who's bleeding? Are you letting him just lay like?
We're not paramedics. We have medical on the way.
Ryan, stay on your side. I know.
I'm just gonna watch him. I do want you to.
Okay, get out of there.
You see how this heartless cop treated an individual dying in front of him. He devalued the life from a rival. Let's put up the screenshot we have. On this screenshot, you can clearly see from the body cam footage obtained by the independent Salt Lake City police officer, Ryan Anderson, is playing games and watching TikTok. This is in the state of Utah. The person who he refused to help, his name was Ryan Outlaw. Ryan Outlaw was dying of stab wounds. An irony in this story is that the person who stabbed him is the one who pleaded with the officer to help him. I contacted that local police department. I was informed very clearly their officers are trained on emergency response, first aid, and it's a protocol to preserve life unless it places the officer or others in danger. This dude wouldn't even get off his damn phone. Put that picture up again. As you might remember, 39-year-old Outlaw had been stabbed. Mr. Outlaw was stabbed by who? By his 24-year-old girlfriend, Fernando Tobar. Now, Mr. Outlaw died from those stab wounds. So Tobar served 3 months for manslaughter because of that stabbing, and was released on probation in June after admitting to stabbing Outlaw in a jealous rage. I need you to see this clearly, okay? There's a person dead. The individual that killed the person gets a few months in jail. The cop that allowed the person to die in front of him receives no charge whatsoever. Not even gross negligence that led to or was the proximate cause of death, nothing. Let me go back to the cops. So Officer Anderson and his colleague, Officer Jadah Brown, recently came under fire when Fox 13 first published the body cam footage that shows how they failed to administer first aid to Mr. Outlaw as he bled out for approximately 8 minutes. Now questions have been raised about Officer Anderson's response during his investigation of the crime after Mr. Outlaw was finally to a hospital. So Anderson is on and off his phone for almost an hour as he and other law enforcement officials investigate the black man's death. The muted body cam footage has now renewed outrage about this cop's inaction, which the Outlaw family and policing experts said the same thing in an interview with The Independent. The outrage at first was at no point was about this part. At no point did Officer Anderson or Officer Brown provide medical care or even touch Mr. Outlaw? Did you hear them? Did you hear the cop say, "Oh, you got to come up, you keep on moving, come out of the elevator"? Who says that to a person dying? Who says that? You don't even have humanity. That blue suit has made you shed your humanity. Who responds to a human being in distress in that manner? A victim of a crime. A victim of a crime. There's more. The Salt Lake City Police initially defended the officer's response. Okay. In a statement to Fox 13, the department said that they had acted in line with training. That's what they said. And made the best decisions they could in a very dramatic or dynamic and difficult situation. Now, what are they saying? The SLCPD told The Independent on Friday that it has since opened a preliminary review into the officer's response to the stabbing. Now, why are they calling this a preliminary review? Because they don't want to say the word investigation. Understand the game they're playing. They're calling it a preliminary review because they do not want to say the word investigations against these cops. At this point, the city is doing a review of the facts, policy, and law around this incident. And we can't comment at this time. This is considered a preliminary review only, according to the spokesperson. Let's put up the chief here. His name is Mike Brown. They will not confirm a full face picture for us of this cop and his colleague who responded. So until they do that, Chief Mike Brown will be the face of this disastrous story. That's why we say, this is why we say, Black Lives Matter. We have to pivot the conversation to make certain people in this country respect the fact that Black life has value. It's a shame we have to do it. The campaign, the movement of Black Lives Matter should not even be necessary, but it is. We have just provided evidence of how Black lives, in particular Black males, are not valued in the criminal justice system, nor by agents of law enforcement. Dan, thoughts on this case?
Police officers are trained to administer CPR. Yep. They're not trained to tell someone who is bleeding out, "Hey buddy, could you crawl over here for me really quickly?" Not so I can help you or like provide you CPR, but so you can like get out of the elevators and make my job easier. I deeply wish that this man's life was valued more than a cop who came there and did the same thing I do on my bathroom breaks, scrolling TikTok and playing video games. I wish his life was treated with more respect than that of, a bathroom break. But that's why it's important to say Black Lives Matter. It's also important to say that we can't send police in these situations. At the end of the day, that cop there was useless.
Useless.
The ambulance was there. They were eventually able to take care of the man who eventually passed away. He didn't do any investigation. I couldn't tell whether the woman admitted that night that she had done the stabbing or not, but didn't seem to be a lot of investigation done there. There didn't seem to be a lot of she seemed to be a person of interest if she's the one calling there and he's stabbed. Yeah. So arrest her. If you are a cop, can you cuff her or something? Such a gross example of why you need more than police officers in these situations, because no, you send them there and sometimes they're even worse than useless.
Very well said. All right.